Oh, that didn't hit them in the back? Really? Huh. That's interesting. I thought Assassinate surely got them in from behind. Oh, there's birds. I don't want no birds. Oh. Well, that... well, I should have done that earlier. Okay. Okay then, alright. Making progress. Making progress on the quests. Right now my quests are like hit level 70. That's my current quest line. For the most part. So I have a fun story for you guys. I have fun stories. So when I was ill, when I was sick, I had said, like, it was basically, it wasn't too much. It was like a small spring cold. And it didn't seem all that bad. It just had, it gave me a slight cough. And, you know, I was a little more tired. You know, basic sick stuff. Basic, I'm a little bit sick stuff. The problem is that, that towards the end of it, it gave me, like, a bad stomach virus or something like that for, like, a short period of time. I had, you know, standard stuff. You know, you get a little bit of diarrhea and your stomach grumbles all the time, and it's just not happy with you, basically. Like, your stomach's like, dude, things aren't going well, man. What did you do? What did you do? What's wrong with you? So my stomach was really angry at me, but the fun part is that I think this was the closest I came in my adult life to actually crapping myself. I've yet to do it. So I'm good on that front, but I mean, this was a possibility at this time because so here's the story. I was in bed at the time, and I was doing the thing where I'm like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm gonna sleep, and I'll sleep off the sickness and stuff like that, and everything will be. I'll feel better in the morning because nighttime is always worse when you're sick. I mean, any of you guys that have been sick before, you should know when nighttime comes, that's when like your body gets tired, and then the sickness is like, oh yeah, it's time to ruin everything. Oh, you thought you were gonna get a good night's sleep? No, here's a fever. Here's a cough. And even when it's like just a small little cold, suddenly it feels like oh geez. Suddenly it feels like it's a big bad cold out of nowhere. So, I was asleep, because I was tired at the time, as happens now and again to humans. And, like, I was like having a dream. It was like an almost lucid dream, but I couldn't control everything, and I thought I was asleep, but I wasn't 100% sure. And in that dream, suddenly, out of nowhere, I had to go to the bathroom, and I had to take a crap, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. But I couldn't go anywhere, and I couldn't find a bathroom. And then, like, this kept building up. To the point where, it was getting ludicrous and impossible, so I think by this point I was like finally realizing, oh, I'm asleep or I'm in bed or something, but I couldn't get up. I like could not get myself physically out of bed or anything. Like, I was still half asleep at the very best. At the most, I was half asleep, and I knew I was in bed. And I knew I had to get up or I was going to crap myself, but I just couldn't move. And it was almost like I don't want to call it that thing where people just feel like they're being held down and physically can't get out of bed. I felt like I physically couldn't wake up. Like I was just trapped in my own dream and not allowed to get up. And my stomach was starting to hurt worse and worse, and I'm like, oh, this is how it ends. No. I've gone so long without doing this. Everyone says they do it once in their life. This can't be it. I gotta get older before I crap my own pants. Which is really weird. It's really weird. Like, everyone I've ever talked to, or almost everyone I've ever talked to, or lots and lots of people that are above the age of, like, 23 or so, or heck, sometimes even younger, sometimes like 20 and above, just 20 and above, have a story where they like crap their pants at least just a little bit. At least just a little bit. Like, whether it's like a shart, or they were sick, or something like that. Oh boy, I get to do this. Right, where's the Reshpon one? There we go. Give me the location. This way. Okay. So, like, everyone that I know, including, like, my parents, my friends, etc., have a story where they crap themselves at least just a little bit, and I've yet to do that. And everyone's like, oh, it'll probably happen eventually. You'll have your own story eventually. Your own tale to tell your children in the future about that time you sharted or whatever. And I'm like, nah, that's not gonna happen. I'll be fine. But this was a close one. This was definitely a close one. And it was just so weird. Like, I was trapped in my dream and could not get up. Okay, what? So I don't know. I've not experienced that, or at least I've not been cognizant of the experience of being trapped in my own dream and unable to get up. Just straight up incapable of getting out of the dream and not being asleep anymore. And it's a weird feeling. It was a very weird feeling to be like, yeah, I'm awake, but I can't do anything about being awake right now. So I was like, what am I gonna do now? Because I'm stuck here and I can't move. It was weird. And I want to talk about how weird, like, life is out of that. Because, like I said, everyone I know has at least that one story where they're like, oh yeah, crap myself, or whatever. Even just a tiny bit. I had to change my pants. That's enough. But, like, you think about life, and like, the flow of it. So, like, as a child, or as an infant, or whatever, goddamn, you, like, you have the situation where, like, you crap yourself, or you have an accident and stuff, even whether you're, like, a baby, a toddler, or a young child, and it's somewhat acceptable for that to happen. You're still very young, growing up and stuff like that, and it's relatively expected. And then you get to the middle to like adolescence and stuff like that, where you're like a school kid, and you're starting to get older and whatnot, and so you're in school now, and suddenly, because you're getting older and everything like that, that's far less acceptable, and it's something that's just not expected to happen anymore. You're not supposed to crap yourself as you get older or anything like that. Not supposed to make a mess. Why is this door still closed? There's no one left. Come on, game. So you go from infancy to toddlerhood, or toddlerdom, toddler age, whatever, where this is an acceptable thing, and it happens. Trust me, I've had 2 younger siblings. It happens. And then you get to young adulthood and throughout your teenage years and everything like that, where it's not only like something that shouldn't happen, but it's like super unacceptable by society standards and stuff, like your peers and whatnot, your schoolmates and stuff. Like, you better not let that happen or your school life is over. Which doesn't really matter all that much because it's just your school life, but whatever. You know, when you're at that age, it matters a whole lot more to you. Obviously. I'm allowed to say that because I'm not in school anymore. I mean, I'm 24, so, you know, my school life don't matter for shit no more. Got him. And then it seems that out of nowhere, once you hit 20 or 21 maybe with the drinking age for the US or something, suddenly it's like it's almost expected for you to shit yourself at least once. And I'm like, why? Why is that something that's just out of nowhere? Suddenly it's like, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you can shit yourself. It'll happen. And it's like, what? What happened? Where did this schism in attitude change at? It went from, oh, this is not acceptable at all, to, oh yeah, that'll happen. It's gonna happen. Sooner or later, it's gonna happen. That's kind of like the weird part about it, is like, everyone I know is like, oh yeah, sooner or later, it's gonna happen. Whether you want it to or not. I'm gonna shove laxatives into your food if I have to, but it's gonna happen. Oh, it's so weird. Life, like stuff like that happens in life, and the way that it works is just so... It's interesting, at the very least. It's weird, but interesting. God, Reshpon, good music. I hate the dungeon, love the music. Ow. Still, ow. Bleeding. Bleeding profusely. So yeah, that's, you know, just a very odd thing that happened to me where I just couldn't get up. I made it! I made it! I broke free from the shackles of my dream and rushed myself to the bathroom before anything horrible happened to me. But it was very odd being just unable to wake up in such a way. Like, that's something that honestly scares the crap out of me, as like just something that can happen to you. Like, the human body can do a lot of very scary things to you, but that's one of the scariest things. I don't know what the official term is. I want to say sleep apnea or something like that. But just that situation where your body will not let you get up, or it feels like you're being held down by someone and you just can't get out of bed, or you can't move, or it's difficult to breathe and stuff like that. And that's like, ooh, no, that gives me the legitimate willies. That's scary stuff. That's scary territory. That is something I hope to not have to really experience personally, on a very personal level. I don't wanna be trapped inside of my own body and unable to wake up. And like, if that's what it's like being in a coma, God forbid I ever be in a coma. Like, ooh. It's a super scary thought to me. Stuff like that. Alright. You're dead, Agonis. Ow. Oh, he became untargetable for that shit. What garbage. Oh. So yeah, I hope to never have something like that happen to me where it's like an extended period of time. I actually read, I've read a manga that's super applicable to that kind of situation. Alright, this was by Junji Ito, who, if you guys have never read anything by Junji Ito, he is a horror manga artist and storyteller who has been around for a while now. He's been around since, like, 80s to 90s was when he started, something like that. So he's drawn, done a lot of stories. Yeah. He's done a lot of stories, and one of them is actually very much pertinent to this story, where so the basic horror setting is that this guy goes to the hospital, and he's this guy went to the hospital, and this is all told in a flashback form between a conversation between two of the doctors at a hospital. And it's like, this guy's been at the hospital for like a month or so, and he went there complaining about the fact that he's feeling almost exhausted from going to sleep, because whenever he goes to sleep, he feels like he's been asleep and even trapped in his dreams for like hours longer than it should have been, days even. So basically he's like, why do I feel like this? And the doctors monitor him, and based on like just the activity of his brain and everything while he's asleep, he is literally perceiving himself living for like days at a time. And over the time, the course of being there, it gets worse and worse, where like it starts like, oh yeah, I've like the last night I went to sleep and I lived a week. I lived for a week doing this or that, and his short-term memory is pretty bad about the day before, because in his mind, the day before was like a week ago, and then things get worse, and like the day before was a month ago for him. And the longer they spends there, the worse things get for him. And the longer his dreams last, and to the point where he wakes up one day and he's like violent with the doctor, because in his dream, like, he was trying to he had been living a life for years with someone, and the doctor was just someone in the dream that was basically his enemy in some way, shape, or form. So he got violent with him, and another of the patients was in his dream, so he tried to go talk to that person, and things got really odd, because in his mind, he spent like 3 years living with that person and had an entirely different life, but in reality, he was just asleep for a night. And then things, I'm not gonna like spoil the ending, because the ending is like, you know, the big stinger and everything like that for Junji Ito's stories. But things continue to get worse and worse and worse for him, to disastrous, very disastrous results. And that's something that like really creeps me out. Just the thought of something like that. And I wouldn't say it's like something that scared me when I read it. I didn't think it was like an overly scary story, but it's one of those things where it leaves like a really bad taste in my mouth, or like a really bad thought in the back of my head. What am I doing here? Am I diverting the bombs to the teleportation device? Is that what it said? Like right here? Right here? Right? Hey, I think I did it. Okay, he survived that. Interesting. But yeah, that story just... That's a story that I think a fair bit of people can actually relate to. Like, Just something that is just scary enough that, like, you can look at it from the outside and be like, oh, that's not too scary, but then you think about yourself being trapped in that situation, and it kind of just, it makes you squirm in your chair a little bit, if you're anything like me. It makes me squirm in my chair a little bit thinking about it, just like, ugh. It's not a good deal, man, not a good deal. I do not like the thought of being trapped in my dreams forever and unable to wake up. Especially if you like have a bad dream or something. Like, if you get trapped in a dream and it feels like you're like living whatever life it is in that dream for like a year or something, and you get a bad dream, dude, that's not good. That's a really bad situation for you, right? And there's nothing you can even do about it. Oh, creepy. Yeah, for anyone that's never read through any of Junji Ito's works, I highly recommend it. It's very good. He's got a lot of very good stories out there. A lot of very creepy stories that aren't necessarily like super scary or horror, but definitely leave. There's some of them that leave just a bad feeling in the back of your head, some tingling. There are some legitimate, like, decent horror stories throughout a lot of his works too. There's a lot of work to read through, but check out Junji Ito if you guys have never done so. You guys would probably like it at least a little bit. At least a little bit. I think it's pretty good. I think he's got some good stuff. He has the seal of approval.